Well, we're going to try something a little new this week. Hello, crafters. I'm Big D, and this is GameCraft Dragon. Quick check on my sound, making sure I am sounding good, and it's good. I think we're okay. How y'all doing tonight? Hello, Ben. So, crazy week. Leagues of VOLTRON dropped. The world is coming to an end with Leagues of VOLTRON. I got a new job and I'm working in a new place and having a great freaking time. We're going to talk about that. I got a big shout out for a bunch of people with a bunch of love for everybody. And just generally been one heck of the last few days. So, hello. So, Taug, Ben, Tina, good to see y'all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Y'all know who I am. Thank you so much. I am the GameCraft Dragon. If you'd be so kind as to hit a thumbs up, let people know that this is all right things, I would find this entertaining. That'd be great. Commodore and Skynox. Good to see you both, guys. Good to see you. So, Leagues of VOLTRON, or VOLTRON, no L, Leagues of VOLTRON finally dropped this past weekend. Got to look at a codex, and gosh, it is small. It's a thin codex. There is not a lot of models in that line looking it over. And I guess all the lore's coming from, starting points. So they packed everything they could in that book, and it's small. I mean, it's not that surprising. It's a brand new faction. It's a brand new addition to the game. They didn't want to tie in too much of the old squat stuff with them. I was gifted a box. Yes, I was gifted a box. So yes, I have it here. It's up on the shelf. I don't know when I'm going to get to building it. I got a lot of other stuff's going on right now. I got a bunch of terrain I have to paint. And I'm in a good place. So let's go back over the last week, from last week, Tuesday. So let's talk about the more important thing that happened. That's how you look at Space Prince. Very good. Let's start off with the big thing that happened Saturday. Far more important than any Warhammer 40K release. I want to give a big shout out, big love to the Commodore and Pirate Phoenix that have finally tied the knot. And now they are an official married couple bearing each other in misery. It's a wonderful thing to see. Congratulations, Commodore. I can't really say in simple words how happy I am for you and for Phoenix. You guys know how much I love the both of you. So, Roxy the Riveter, good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, Commodore got married this past weekend. I was happy to be there. It was a good time. It was a good party. We had some good foods, good dancing, got a little boogie on, got a little drink on, had a good old time. And then Leagues of VOLTRON came out that same day, and Best of Chavez. Good to see you, buddy. And then Leagues of VOLTRON came out that day. I've had a chance to look through the codex a little bit. A lot of plastic in that box. The grudge tokens or whatever they're called. I haven't gone over all the rules yet. I haven't had a chance to. I've been just too busy with other things. But you're very welcome, my sweet. Thank you so much. And that's cool, Knox, because I want to look into them more. I'm hoping after I get a couple months of the brand new job, I got the job. So everybody knows I'm 2 weeks ago, I missed the show because I literally got let go that day. And I was just like not up to doing a show, finding out my company had eliminated my department. So it was just like, great. My whole department of me isn't needed anymore. So, that really sucked. Um, yeah. So, lost the job. And I had an offer by the end of the week for a contract. So I wasn't worried about being able to pay bills eventually. I mean, things will be late probably by a week or two. I'll get things figured out. It's not that big a deal. But then I had another offer come in on last week, Wednesday. And they brought me in. They're like, hey, we like you. We like the work you're doing. We like what you do. We like your personality. And we like your background more than anything else. So we want you to start tomorrow. We don't want to wait. We're going to offer you right now. And they offered me $5 more than everybody else was giving me. So $5 more an hour. It was like, wow, okay, let's do it. So I'm now working for a company that specializes in supporting IT for schools and services and rescue services and that kind of thing. So it's really good because they got a good mission at hand. So it was really good. And I mean, they even have a pension plan. I was like, who the hell has a pension plan anymore? And they have a pension plan. So it's really, really cool. And it's a small family run company. It's not like a lot of employees. There's a lot of driving involved, admittedly. There's a lot of driving involved. But I mean, I get paid mileage, I get paid my money, and it's just a great place. And like Thursday, I was there learning the ropes, understanding where I was going to be supporting stuff, and then I spent 2.5 hours petting dogs and getting paid for it. I mean, what more could you want? What could you want more than petting dogs and getting paid for petting dogs? It was a blast. Um, the owners actually run rescue dogs. They run rescue dogs, like the kind that go into like hazard situations and find bodies and find people and that kind of thing. So it was pretty cool. A couple of really good girls, Whiskey and Echo. Got to play with them a bit and get them to run around a little bit while I was doing my job and learning the ropes at that place. So that was really cool. And then Friday did what went on Friday, and Saturday was great, and then Sunday. So people might have known, and I mentioned this a couple weeks back, that I had a flood in my basement 2 weeks back. It came back. It came back. It came back on Sunday morning. And we found out what the cause was and able to freaking clear it, but it was another, handful of cash to get it fixed. Not as much as it was last time because the guy was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I mean, I'm not going to charge you full price for laying it out. We just couldn't get to it last time. Now we can. Let's get it done. So that was great. And then I went out to the car. And you guys may remember about 6 months ago, my car got broke into. Well, the sequel just happened. It got broke into again. So I'm thankful I started a new job because I'm a half a paycheck in the hole, not even starting the job yet. So, yeah, it's great. We already talked about it. If it happens a third time, because it's the brand of my car, I have a Kia. If it happens a third time to my Kia, I'm going to probably end up selling the Kia because I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't just chuck out $500 every 6 months to get the window and steering column fixed. Yeah, learn a lesson. Don't get a key in Milwaukee. And second lesson: when you come home late night from a reception, it doesn't matter how tired you are. Do your due diligence and put the Kia up the driveway and put the other car behind it so it can't be gotten to. But that's all right. It was a good weekend. I had a bad day, but it was a good weekend. We got the problems fixed. We got things taken care of. I've got a rental car for the next 3 weeks until, at a minimum, until they get my car fixed. And that's all paid for by the insurance company. So that's amazing and wonderful. And then I started my new job yesterday, and I've been there 2 days now, and I absolutely love it. And tomorrow I am going to be flying solo for a good part of the day, as a lot of our team's going to be up north. Yeah, except here's the problem. Like today, I put 90 miles down doing my route because I had to go to 3 of my schools, 2 of which are in Racine. So I did have to drive down to Racine today for a couple of schools. But, I mean, that's just part of the job. It's just part of the job. It's all good. But that's reality, and that's okay. It was funny seeing that one of the places was literally next door to a place I used to work. So it was like, well, that's fun. And I think after 15 minutes, I think that's enough reality to talk about of my reality. So let's talk about some other cool stuff. Antonio reminds me of the other really good stuff. So I want to clap, clap, clap for Antonio, because Antonio is one of the new proprietors of Warp Storm Gaming Lounge. I am so freaking excited about that. It's funny. A lot of people in this channel already know about me. There's a few that don't. I've done some work with the Warp Storm tournament series and Factlandia Gaming. Well, a lot of the guys that were running the Factlandia Gaming have moved on to make with some other people like Antonio, and to create this new place that is gaming centric, that I am super excited to go see this store when it finally opens. It's going to be an amazing store. The staff is just amazing people. So it's going to be one hell of an experience. I am stoked. And I know Antonio and I used to talk about a year ago. We were talking about his desire to open his own gaming store, and we had talked about it numerous times, and he had plans, and he had ideas, and he had dreams, and it was amazing to see that he was part of this happening. I say this as a guy that had a dream to write a book and then wrote 3 of them and got them published. Having, even in the smallest way, an honest to goodness dream come true is a feeling inside you cannot describe. It takes hard work, it takes effort, it takes blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. And okay, Ben, you got it. I will get you them. I will get them for you. To see Antonio take his dream and make it happen with a bunch of other people that I know that it's their dream too. I'm so excited, and it's a weird way to put it, but I'm proud of them because I know the sacrifice it takes to make something like that happen. I know the sacrifice it takes to make a dream like that happen. And exactly that, Antonio. Everything I've heard about it so far, everything I've seen, and everything I know about all of you guys. I don't want to all like, I'm so proud, but I mean, I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys to have built up the community the way you have, to be part of the community and build it up. And I don't mean this just as a Warhammer guy, because it's not just Warhammer. I mean, Warhammer's part of it, yes. but it's role-playing games, it's miniature painting outside of that, it's card games, it's community, it's all the different facets of gaming, and it's amazing to see. And again, it's my favorite kind of game store, one that's not owned by a big company. So I want to come there, and when I have spare money, I want to give you guys money and put it in your pockets because I want to see you guys succeed. And everybody should want to see companies and businesses like yours succeed, because it is businesses and companies like yours that make gaming continue. One of the biggest experiences I had when I was working for Wizards of the Coast was understanding that without brick and mortar stores, without old-fashioned ma and pa brick and mortar game stores, the hobby falls apart. Without a place that is the center of a community for people to go to. You can buy all the models you want online. You can buy your books. You can buy all your stuff online. That's great. But unless you're just playing with yourself, or you've got a built-in audience in your basement, you don't get the community and the face time that's required to be gaming. And that is the thing that a lot of people miss about nerds. They refer to nerds as antisocial and anti, people. But gaming is our social activity. It is how we are social. It's a fortunate and unfortunate thing. You will have gamer. You can always tell a gamer because they will see you playing a game and they want to immediately tell you about something that they did that relates to that game, because a lot of times that is the easiest way for them to relate to a situation. You become friends over games. I point out one of my nearest and dearest friends of all time that I haven't seen in a while because he had to move down to South Carolina. But he and I met at a gaming and comic book store over playing Dungeons and Dragons when he was 14 and I was 15. And, well, Roxy, that's what OnlyFans is for. I met this guy 30 plus years ago, 35 years ago, and we're still friends to this day. And it formed over gaming. And when we talk about things, there are other things that happen other than gaming. Roxy, I'll be your friend. You and I, we're friends now. It's sealed and delivered. We're friends. That's it. You have a friend. Now you just need two more and you have a circle of friends, or at least a square, triangle, one more. Get two more, three more, you get a trapezoid of friends. You're good to go. I have a long-term group of people that I'm very, very close with still to these days. And they were people that I met, and they're people I gamed with. I was the best man at one of my friends' weddings. And I became his best friend because we gamed. He was my best man because we're gamers. The people I know, my social life revolves around gaming. All my oldest friends are gamers. And my wife, my ex-wife, I met them through gaming. So to a gamer, not a video gamer, but to a gamer, a table gamer, a tabletop gamer, a card gamer, a role player, a gaming store is just as vital of a social environment as a bar, as a nightclub, as a church, as any other place you would go and mingle and meet people with like-minded ideas so that you have a common ground to start having a social connection. Ben and Tina are two people that are very near and dear to me. They mean an incredible amount to me, more than I can really express comfortably. Because I'm not always completely comfortable kind of ripping out my heart and showing it to people. But Ben and Tina have been there for me at dark times. I don't think they even knew it. And they've been good to the community. They've been a great, they are real community builders. And I want to add another name to community builders, and he just popped in our chat here. So Mr. Kirschbaum, the bomb, whether or not he realizes it, and I don't think how much he realizes how important he and Max are to this community. And unfortunately, Max has kind of moved away from some of it because he's got other communities he's involved with. But Kirsch is a Kirsch, Ben, Tina. These are guys that help establish and maintain a cohesive community. So that being said, Antonio, Antonio, you and Quinn and Alex and the others, I'm just so ecstatic for you guys making this store become reality. Your opening day, I will do my best. If it's not a Tuesday, I will be there, my friend. I will be there. So you just let me know when that is, and we're gonna be there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, working for Wizards of the Coast, gaming doesn't happen without gaming stores. You can sell it all online, but if they don't have a place to go, it doesn't happen. Yeah, it will be. It just doesn't happen. And that was the thing. Because of the work I did with Wizards of the Coast, they changed some of their policies because they realized they were starting to drive their core business holders out of business. If you don't have places to play Magic, Magic the Gathering dies. If you don't have places to play and teach D&D, D&D dies. When your entire company is based on two products to start with, you got to make sure the places that function around those two products are there in continuum. And it's a weird thing in this city. For those of you not from Milwaukee and those of you younger folk in Milwaukee, you may not realize that Milwaukee is kind of a mecca of gaming. Gen Con started out, well, it didn't start here. It started in Lake Geneva. But in 1980, it moved here to Milwaukee. And from 1980 to 2001, 2002, it was here in the city. And in those 20 some odd years, we became a staple. And you can look at old Gen Con flyers and Gen Con data and guys that have been in Gen Con, and you'll hear stories about them, the traditions, going to the Hyatt, going to the safe house. Gaming became huge around here over those 20 years. Those 20 plus years, it became a place. There were a couple of iconic stores here in Milwaukee and in Madison that were the place to get gaming stuff in the area. And in the early 2000s, there was a downturn in the industry in the 2006, 7, 8. It coincided with that first huge economic downturn. A lot of companies went out of business. One of them, kind of an iconic place here in Milwaukee, Napoleon's. It was like the wargaming store, the role-playing. I mean, he's the gaming store. Massive, massive store. Massive store. And when he folded, it was a huge blow to this city. And he went away, and Fortress Games died at the same time, which was another big store. There was the Hobby Cave on Greenfield and 70th that went away, or Game Castle. That was it. Game Castle was there. There were a couple of big stores that all went away. And there was a time when we went from having a couple, almost probably a dozen or so some odd gaming stores in the city, to there was a real point when I think Game Universe was the only company left in town for a bit there. And that was pretty scary. I'm glad they pulled through. They changed hands, but they pulled through. And now they're doing pretty well. But I like to see more. I like to see more companies. I like to see more businesses in different areas of town, so you get different groups. You got now Battle Brothers, Midtown. You're going to have you guys on the lower middle south side. So you're not going to be, you guys are in a great spot. That's going to be that's a great spot where you guys are at. There's nobody nearby. There's far south side for Pink Bunny, but you're kind of sitting near whereabouts the old AGP used to be, and there used to be a banister, board game barrister right there too. So no, GW doesn't count. They don't count. And I'll tell you why they don't count. They only sell one game. As much as I love Warhammer products on a whole, they're not a gaming store. They're a Warhammer store. That's all they sell. Yeah, no, I know. I know. Like I said, I know where it's at. And that's what I was saying. Board Game Barrister was huge. And yeah, Gordon screwed his own self over. I mean, that guy. Yeah, that's part of the thing about G-Dubs. I mean, they went through some stuff to open that store there. They screwed over a couple of local stores to do it. And it was one of the big reasons that led to Napoleon's going out of business. And I understand it had something to do with Gaming Troll, AGP. It had multiple names, multiple locations, multiple owners, multiple partnerships, but I understand it had something to do with why they folded too. Although I was kind of glad to see them go because they had Nazis, and I didn't like that at all. They had Nazis that played there, and I don't mean like, oh, this is the lore. No, I mean actual Nazis. It was not good. Ooh, just bad. Oh gosh, I'm demonetized now. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm so excited to see you guys get into that space. It's a great space, and I can't wait to get there. Let's move on. We spent 50 minutes on it. Let's move on. I want to keep the show rolling. Keep the show rolling. Leagues of Votan came out on Saturday. And we're seeing the full release of the Codex. And German gaming tournaments have banned it because it's so broken. I don't think it's that broken. I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's good. And I think every army is good the moment it walks out the door because that's GW's business model. Let's make it good. Everybody will buy it. And then we'll bring it back after a couple months to calm everybody the hell down. My man, how you doing? Oh man, let me quick go back. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. So let's see here. When I saw Kirsch join, let's see who's coming since then. Oh, Hellchild, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We got, of course, my man Mythos, the Frosted Fist. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out with us, buddy. We got a good crowd tonight. I'm kind of excited. You know, we got 15 people in here. This is great. That's a good night. I like this. Again, Minnie! Oh my God, it's so good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, my man. So once again, if we're having a good time, if you don't mind, good if you get me that thumbs up so I can kind of get my way into that cycle there, just because I am so close to 700 subscribers. Just need a few more. Be awesome. So yeah, let's talk about Leagues of Votan. So the Codex is pretty crazy. There are some broken interactions. Skynox has talked about it a little bit. I know he's done some work with them. He's really been studying them heavy. For those of you not familiar with his Twitch channel, Skynox, he's a competitive player. I hear he played this weekend and had some problems. Sorry to hear that, buddy. But he's a very good competitive player. I enjoy my games with him. We've had some great fights. Gosh, I still the fight between his Thousand Suns and my Tau was just such a great game. He understands the math. He understands the tactics. He really delves into the meat and potatoes. So if you're a Twitch person and you want to get deeper into it, I would say subscribe to Skynox. Skynox, do you have a YouTube channel yet? Because if you do, people need to subscribe to him too. He's a great guy. Really worth it. Really good information. I mean, he's a clown, but I mean, we all are. I mean, I was in a tournament 2 weeks ago and I won a set of dice because I came in last. It was just not my day. Oh my God, I got my ass blown off. Oh God. Yeah, I got my ass shot off. So oh, and I gotta say, I got a quick jump in. Two things. One, yes, Kirsch, you picked out the most beautiful dice. Those Packer marble colors are gorgeous. I love them to death. They made me decide what color my Votan army is going to be. I'm going to be painting up my Votan in Packer colors just because of you. Thank you so much. Secondly, because I know he's in the chat tonight, I actually want to directly thank Antonio. And I don't know if he knows this, but Antonio is a massive reason why my whole attitude about Warhammer's changed. And it's been wearing at it over time. The more I've thought about a couple conversations he and I have had, And the more I play the game, and the more I paint, and the more I build, and then go back and play again, I got to give Antonio credit because he's the one that put it in my brain. Mr. Fish, good to see you, buddy. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. But I want to thank him because I got my ass just absolutely just slapped around. First round, I didn't scout my opponent enough. I made a stupid error to start off the game, and I lost a tight game because of it. I didn't know because I didn't ask, and I could have asked and he would have happily answered it. I didn't realize that salamanders had been changed so that you don't get to reroll wounds on them. I'm playing Tau. That's like one of my core mechanics if I'm playing Montka. Playing salamanders. I should not play Montka. I should play the other one, the one I never play, but I know how to play. I just never play it because I like playing in people's face. But if I lose my main mechanic, I should never play that. So then it got me thinking and got me in my head, and I lose a game by this much. And I get into my second game, and I said, well, I'm going to play a little bit cagier. I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play the more sedate. And I played against a shortboard army, which right then and there should have been like, oh my God, why am I not playing Montka? I need to be in their face. No, I played the other thing, and I got my ass handed to me by Tyranids. And a Tyranids army just wrecked my day. And in the end, okay, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go with what I know, and I'm going to go back to Montka. And I went back to Montka for the third round against Tau. And I had him on the run the first 2 rounds. And then ran out of gas. And he ended up picking it up to spare. Good night, you two. Thanks so much for popping by. Yeah, so I fell apart. I fell apart in that third game, and I lost all 3 rounds and came in last place. And I had a great, awesome time. It had been a shitty week. I had lost my job. I'd had my basement flood. I had all these other things going on. And I went and played Warhammer for 9 hours. And I had a blast. An absolute blast. Because I was playing to win. Yeah, I won the wooden spoon. Got a beautiful set of dice. I should pull them out and show them to you guys. I got my ass handed to me. I came in last place, and it wasn't that I didn't care. No, I was. That was exactly it, though. I didn't care. I wasn't bothered by it. I wasn't upset by it. I was like, shit, that happens. Because I played the list I wanted to play. I didn't go meta. I didn't go something that's, I have to be viable. I have to have this. I have to have that. I must do this. I have to. I didn't do that. I built a list of units I wanted to play, units I thought were good, units I thought would go good together, and I played the army I wanted to play. And I put my figures on the table, and I used my figures, and I played them to the best of my ability, and I had a great freaking time. And it didn't matter if I won or lost. A year ago, and you guys have heard it when Lady D has talked about it. A year ago, I lose a game, I spend the next 2 days pulling that game apart in my mind, replaying every piece of that game, going, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What could I strategize better? I pull this apart. I absolutely pull this apart. A year ago, I'd spend days just raging over this in my mind. I was driving home, talking to my wife on the phone. Did you have a good time? I had a great time. It was fun. And hey, I won. I got a box of dice. Because the best part of that day was I got to play 9 hours of Warhammer against 3 people that I'd never played a game with before. I got to see 3 people's perspective on the game that I had never seen before. I got to talk with them and get their opinions and get their viewpoints and get their ideas on a game I love. People I've never met before. And yet we bonded and had a great time and had a fun time. And we talked and we commented on how each other's figures looked and how each other were playing and why they liked their faction. And we just had that social encounter. And it was more about enjoying the game and playing the game and having fun. And I didn't give 2 shits about winning or losing. Would I like to win? Yes. I like winning. Reality. But I like playing the game. I like painting figures. I like building figures. I like the whole hobby. Winning is a piece of that hobby. And without the input from Antonio, from a conversation he and I had, and I won't go into the full details of the conversation, but I know I'm praying. And Antonio, please tell me you remember this conversation we had. But that conversation has been boring into my head like a worm for the last year. And it's the fellowship is exactly it. I don't meta chase. I have a billion freaking armies. It's not because I want to chase the meta, but it's because I want to play the game different ways. I enjoy different ways. And yeah. And that gives you an idea. And again, Antonio, I want you to understand what that means. I mean, it was a very real conversation, and it is something. It's funny. Sometimes you have conversations that you think are really deep to you, and you find out later that people don't even remember aspects of it, and people don't think about it. They're just used to chattering. But my brain, I grind on things. I have a conversation and I will think about it for weeks and months and sometimes years later. It keeps coming back if it triggered something in my head that appeals to the inner me. And I kind of hit a point of nirvana, I think, in my gaming. Because as ninth was dropping a year and a half ago. No, two and a half. Year and a half. 2 years. 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago. 2 years ago when Ninth dropped, I had this idea that I wanted to go all in. I wanted to grind in, and I wanted to go hardcore, and I wanted to go hardcore in, and I wanted to try and be like serious go into competitive gaming. And I was watching a lot of playlists, and I was reading a lot of stuff, and I was playing TTS, and I was reading a lot of strategy guides, and I was working with other people. And my game, I was an okay player, but my game picked up, and I really started improving, and people were like, wow, you know. And then I started playing with Max. I got my ass handed to me left, right, and sideways, but you learn more when you lose than when you win. And I was starting to get better and better and better and better and better. And then we got in these tournaments, and I keep having the same results. And part of me was like, oh, what am I not doing right? Nothing. The thing I'm not doing right is I'm trying to turn a game that I enjoy into something more to me than it is. And that is the biggest thing that I realized with me. I love this game, but there's so many aspects of this game I love. If I put all my love into one part of that aspect and that's all I focus on, then I don't love the game anymore. Then I love that aspect. I started having hard times painting. I started having hard times doing videos. I started focusing so much on wanting to get that competitive edge that I found myself falling away from the hobby. And that kind of set me back. So I've kind of mentally cast that original idea into the winds. I want to play competitively. Don't get me wrong. I want to play competitively because that is an aspect of the game I do enjoy. I do enjoy that deep strategy, deep planning, whatnot. But I also enjoy the strategic, but I also enjoy the storytelling. I spent months crafting a story behind my Tau army. This crazy story about who my Tau are. Nobody cares except for me. Nobody cares. But you know what? They actually do. People who want to talk about the game go, well, what are you doing? Well, I have this idea that I have these Tau, that these are the survivors of Mughal Bay. They're the lost fleet. So they've got pieces of all these other fleets. They've got all these other groups of Tau, and they've all come together. And so sometimes they use tactics as a council, because the leaders work as a council to rule over this group, this ragtag fleet. So sometimes they're going to play as Burkhan, sometimes they'll play as Tau, sometimes they'll play as Farside. The idea is that it's all these different small pieces of ships that have come together, and whoever's in charge is the guy calling the shots, and that's why they play that way. It's a lore excuse why they don't match a standard color scheme, but it's a lore reason why I can play them however I want, and it's an excuse for me to paint them in a cool color scheme that I wanted to do. Yeah, and that's, yeah. So that being said, I got an announcement to make. A good one. The last weekend of October, I am running and sponsoring an Age of Sigmar tournament at Game Universe Mequon. So we're going to be. I'm the sponsor. I'm the main TO. and we'll be running. It's we're only gonna have 16 players. Hello, Little D.
Hello, everybody.
We're sponsoring 16 players. Well, I'm not saying sponsor. We're gonna have room in the tournament for 16 players. We're gonna keep it at that. Just a small amount for the first time I run a tournament. I wanna thank Kirsch for his assistance and his guidance in kind of getting me to where I need to be to kind of run a tournament. Everything I've learned from him as part of Warp Storm and some of his guidance of being that guy that's been deep in the Warp Storm experience and deep in the community, so that we're gonna get a tourney off, and we're gonna play Age of Sigmar, and we're gonna play for fun, and we're gonna do it differently than I think other players are gonna do it. I'm doing it more like the original Warp Storm tournaments were. There's 8 tables, and each table will maintain the same mission for all 3 rounds. So 8 different tables, 8 different missions, depending what table you're on, and nobody plays at the same table twice. So we're gonna see how it works. I saw it work the first time we were doing the test run for Warp Storm, and I thought it was great, and it worked out awesomely. And I think for Age of Sigmar, as a more cinematic and storytelling type game, shut up, dude. It's going to be a good time. So we got room for 16 players. I have to talk to Kirschbaum on how to get that up on BCG. But currently the signups are at the store, and we'll get it working from there. I'll have more details that I'll put out in some of our social media and out there. So if anybody in local wants to play, we'd love to have you. 2,000 points, standard 2022-2023 rules. So I'm excited. The Dragon's Eye. It's coming. And shame Commodore is leaving, because Commodore is going to be helping me TO that day. He and I are going to be. I'm going to be running it. He's going to be helping me TO. Just kind of run about. So I want to encourage people. One of the big things we are wanting, though, Army's got to be fully painted. Got to be table ready at least. Just because their scoring doesn't take into account painted or non-painted. So we're requiring armies to be at least table ready. So we'll see how that goes. If we can't get 16 players, it'll go badly. But we're fine. So what else is going on? Long-term things going on. The Dragonfall, yes. Dragonfall is in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And as everything sits right now, it looks like I'm going to be helping TO that, which is it's a charity convention, and Warp Storm is going to be running so the weekend before I run my Age of Sigmar tournament, there's going to be a GT at Dragonfall run by Warp Storm. And that's going to be pretty cool. Again, 2,000 points. I'm going to be helping TO, helping run things, let some other people take some weight off their shoulders. I'm letting them basically run their bare bones. I'm just going to walk in and point and say, hey, played good, I have some ideas for some paint schemes that I'm working on. I'm finishing up some terrain for Warp Storm. I'm finishing up the terrain for Commodore. Gosh, he gave me so much freaking terrain. I didn't realize how much there was. I need to break out the airbrush and just get done with it with the airbrush, because this is just taking forever to get through these pieces. What else is going on? Like I said, we're talking about paint schemes. I am doing my VOLTRON in dark green, like Dark Angel's green armor with yellow and some black and some gold and some white. It's going to be mainly green and gold, but black, yellow, and white for the black, gold, and white for accent pieces and whatnot. It should be a pretty cool scheme. I hope to get a couple of them up and let you guys see what I'm thinking on them. But before then, it looks like Santarans. They're blue. Done. But in the meantime, I'm also, before I actually end up getting to them, I'm going to finish with my Lumineth. So I've been building those slowly. They're very finicky little models. And unfortunately, my standard bearer, well, my leader got his spear snapped off by the guys that broke into my car, and I can't find the spear. And my standard bearer had the front of his standard snapped off by the guys that broke into my car. So I'm going to have to find a different standard. Yeah, I saw that, Todd. Thank you for the shout out on that. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to find a different banner to put on my standard bearer for my my Lumineth. I'm very upset about that, because the kit only came with one, didn't come with alternate flags. So, and I lost the whole freaking flag. So pissed about that. So ideas about paint, lots of ideas about painting. A lot of different ideas about painting, especially after seeing, for those of you that are struggling getting through painting, getting through large amounts of batch painting. There is a new method. The Honest Wargamer put it out there first, and then Ninjon did an update to it to make it even better. But there's a new speed painting method that's kind of going around, and I'm going to be trying it. I'm going to be doing it mainly on my Lumineth, and they're calling it the slap chop method. I don't think that's actually very accurate, but it does look very cool. And the idea is that you're doing a whole lot of pre-shading work before you do the model. So you're doing a full zenithal, working your way down, doing all the shading, all the highlighting, doing all this highlighting with the grays and the whites and the blacks before you put a drop of paint on them. And you're doing it all through simple dry brushing. You're just starting a black, dry brush gray, dry brush white, dry brush brighter white, dry brush thinner white, and just getting successive layers of dry brushing, and then controlled use of contrast paints. I'm going to be trying it on my Votan. Not my Votan, my Lumineth. I might do it on my Votan instead, because the Lumineth, I have a very specific paint scheme in mind, and that's the paints I've picked out for it don't come in a contrast version, but my Votan certainly does. So I might do it that way instead. There you go. So yeah, so if you get a chance to go out there and look at it, the Honest Wargamer and then Ninjon did an update to the method, and I've now seen a couple other people have thrown in, just kind of going, and then add this on, and then that is on, to make it simpler but get better effect, and then do this, make it simpler but make it better effect this way. And people are trying to make it so you can batch paint an army in like 10 minutes. Not realistically, but that's where they're trying to get to, where you can just grind through an army and still make it look good. And y'all know my love of contrast, so is what it is. All right, we're at the 1 hour mark. We're 30 minutes left in the show. Again, I want to give a big shout out to all my friends here in the channel. I also want to give a quick shout out to my buddies here at Patreon. I want to give a big shout out to all my Patreon members because I appreciate that you come in here, give me a couple bucks every month, and just that's your way of saying thank you for the content I do. And I want to say thank you for supporting me in this way because it does mean a lot to me. So let me quick get a list here so I can give those shout outs to those people as they deserve it. Because you guys like my super fans, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that I entertain you to the point where you're worth a couple bucks, a couple bucks a month. I'm worth a cup of coffee. And that's cool to me. I thank you so much. So we're going to start off with our Battle Brother tier, which are 4 of them. First off, Inquisitor Zane. I don't know where you've been, Zane, but I miss you, buddy. Where you at? Show up. Zane. Maybe if they say his name 3 times, he'll show up like Beetlejuice. But Inquisitor Zane, my guy, for Puck a month. We've got Say My Name. He's here. I saw him. He's probably painting at his table, coming across. If you're not subscribed to the Mini Warnut, please go out to Mini Warmut's YouTube channel. He's got great content, mainly about painting and playing games. I mean, you can't hate that about a guy. But Mini Warmut, thank you so much, my man. Thank you for that support. Tina Karaskia, one of the lovely friends of mine, the lovely Tina Raven. Thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate you so much. You are one of the sticks of glue that holds this community together, and I'm so thankful for knowing you and meeting you. And I love telling this story. You are the reason my wife got into 40K. Thank you so much, Money More. Appreciate it. But you're the reason, Tina, that my wife got into 40K because you described to her the Drukari. Oh, well, they're drug-using, drunk bondage elves. BDSM elves, let me see them. So thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to my brother. A couple people actually had the opportunity to meet him this weekend. I don't know if I actually got a chance to stop and talk with him, but as Phoenix was getting married, her dad, master modeler Alex Drake, was at that wedding this weekend, and it was good to see him out and about. So thank you, Al. Love you, man. Now I've got my battle leaders, and I've got 3 battle leaders. I've got Joe Bookish coming to me out of Cleveland. Haven't seen you in a bit, buddy, but I still appreciate you. Still want to give you those shout outs. Thank you so much. We have the man, the myth, the legend, my wolf brother. Big shout out and a howl to Mythos Kushranada, the Frost of Frost and Fists. One of those guys that helped me get my channel off the ground, and hoping he has all the success in the future in his channel, him and his channel growing. Him, Freak, and Oni just doing some great work out there. Great videos lately. And yes, you're Ronnie and you have you might be an addict. I'm tempted to do an answer to that video, but I would shame myself. So let's just say you're doing okay. And lastly, my guy. He is the beans in the chili of community. He is the part that gets to your ribs. He is Ben Karaskio. Thank you so much, Big Ben. And lastly, even though they've left us, they've abandoned us, they've gone out, but they're married now, so they have the right to do married couple things like go out and shop for hand towels or other sundries in a home. But I want to give a big shout out to the Pirate Phoenix and the Commodore, both being my Warlord tier patrons. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it of all of you. You guys are amazing. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will clear a room and just put all my figures down and let somebody go, holy shit, that's a lot of figures. Because it's way too much. I've honestly got to the point where I've thought about selling off some of my figures, and then I go, no, I can't. My precious plastic. I cannot give up my plastic. My plastic is mine. So what do we see? Ben. Oh my God, Ben, shut up. You were trying to sell me your Lumineth. You thought I was planning, you bastard. Honestly, here's the problem, and I'll be honest with you. One of the main reasons I want to get into Lumineth is I've come to realize I freaking love the look, but I hate the play style of the Stormcast. And I want a decent order army, and I love the way those Stormcasts look. I really do. I love the look, but I don't like the way they play. They're so boring. They're just boring to play. They're just not. I don't find them to be interactive at all. They're just like, I put my dudes down, doop a doop a doop a doop, and the only way they're interactive to play is by playing some weird fringe characters or by playing lots of dragons. And then the dragons aren't fun to play again. I don't know. I don't know. I got a bunch of them that I still have unpainted because I haven't been motivated to paint them because I'm not really digging the army anymore. And I want to put some joy back in Age of Sigmar. I love my Nurgle army. I love the look of my my Slaanesh army, and as soon as the Slaanesh get their update, I'm sure they'll be a lot of fun to play. I like Lumineth. I like the look of the Lumineth. They remind me of old days. Yeah, I mean, Cities, I know when Cities, they're going to be getting that book out soon, and that is actually an army I really kind of want to play too. Although it won't be any official figures. I've got some wonderful fantasy human dudes that'd be great for just a Cities of Sigmar army. So we'll see how that works out once they come about. I gotta have time to build and paint another army too. That's been the other problem, is that I keep picking at a couple different armies, and I'm not really finishing any of my projects, and they're starting to pile up and drive me nuts. I probably have a flow. I actually have a bunch of Tau that I don't know when or if I'm ever going to paint them, because they're just figures I'm not probably ever going to play, unless I play them with like Kildame or something. So I've got a bunch of Tau that I got to figure out what to do with. What is coming up in the future? I think we were talking about this before, but we've got the Gargants and the Ogren are getting books coming this fall, early winter. We've got the World Eaters that should be getting one at the end of fall, beginning of winter, probably end of November, beginning of December. December, you get Christmas boxes, so there's that. They leaked the names of the boxes, so people are kind of trying to figure what they are. Apparently, there's one that's very definitely a Hive Fleet box. So so that, there's definitely Tyranids are getting a box. Oddly enough, one of the armies I don't give a crap about. I don't ever want to play Tyranids. They don't appeal to me. They appeal to me, but they don't appeal. They appeal to me aesthetically. The aesthetics of the army is great. Their play style is just not something I enjoy. Not something I've tried to get into it, and I've tried to learn from watching so many people I know that play them. And Art knows what I'm talking about, because Art was having the same thing. They look really great. They seem really great. He tried playing them, and he's just like, I've got this huge army of Mechanicus that I really want to get to painting, because I really have this great idea for them, this great paint scheme, And I like the way they play. I love the way Mechanicus plays. And I just haven't been playing them because they're not painted. Yeah, no, I'm all about it, buddy. Not no bugs for me. Although I have a buddy of mine that's getting into the game. He is getting into the game for the very first time. He has never played before. He's played so many different games. He's been nationally ranked in a bunch of other games. He's actually been the national champion for Doomtown before. So he's played other games and he's been loving them, but he's kind of given up. He had given up on a bunch of games for a while there, and he'd gone just to only playing role-playing games for a while. And now he is deciding to get into 40K because his brother got back into 40K. Those of you that have saw that, if you remember that old 4th edition Tau army I was showing off at one point, that's that brother, that's his army. He's getting back into playing Tau. He's been enjoying it. And now the brother is wanting to play completely based on aesthetics. He wants to play the Tyranids. So I was on the phone with him today talking about Tyranids and answering questions about armies and whatnot. So we might have a couple more new players coming into the playing circle. Oh my gosh, pardon me. Wow, what a day. That is the one thing about the new job. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just it kind of shifts my hours. I'm working 7 to 3, so I'm getting up at the butt crack of dawn and going to work, and then I'm home done by 3. So I've got afternoons available to do whatever the hell I want, which is kind of nice. I might have to figure out some ways to hang out with you guys on some of these available afternoons. I don't even know what the hell this is. What is this piece? Oh, this is Pale Orcs attack drone. That's it. Gosh, we've covered everything I wanted to talk about today. So let's think. What else could be talked about? What else is going on? We talked about what's coming in the near future. Guard. That's what we were talking about. Talking about the new armies coming forward. World Leaders at the end of the year. We're going to have the Gargants and the Ogres coming this fall. Lumineth should be coming out really soon with their new codex. I think this week is when they're going to come on. If not this week, it'll be next week. The Zinch stuff just went on pre-sale this past weekend. Where's the Guard stuff? Where is the Guard codex? Why is there no Guard codex? So my guy has told me that one of the things he's heard, and he heard it in passing, that there was actually, they were slated, but there was a printing issue. And I think it has to do a lot with the idea that their Guard is supposed to be the 9th and 10th bridge codex. So they may have got pushed back again. I mean, they were supposed to be end of summer. They got pushed back to fall. I'm hearing they got pushed back again. I'm hearing February. I'm hearing January, February. And I keep hearing February, not January. Votan next phase. We're supposed to get some of their figures later this year, and then their big last release bit will be in January. So we're going to have the Votan fully out and about before we get our Guard codex. It's just, like, the Guard is one of the most popular factions monetarily to the company. Yeah, the Votan next push is end of November. Like, we're gonna see push, and if they're pushing up their January release to get them through, because there's supposed to be 3. There's the pre-release box here. There's going to be the next push, which will be the official release, which is usually like a month later. If they're going to push stagger that quickly so that the whole line is done and out because it's not a deep line. That's the other thing. It's not a deep line. So if they have everything out by November, yeah, and that's the thing I've been hearing there. I mean, Voltan apparently, as great as they heard Voltan was talked about, for some reason they're surprised by how well it's sold. Really? And yes, yeah. And yeah, Mythos, that is the last word I heard, that they've gotten pushed out of 2022 entirely, and the Guard aren't looking at their release, which was supposed to be at the end of fall or end of summer, beginning of fall. Like Votan took its place and Guard got pushed back further. So it is unbelievable what they're doing to Guard. I'm hoping that's wrong. I'm hoping they're going to get Guard in this year yet. We've already seen so much of their stuff, but that might be part of the key point of it. There's a lot of new units. There's a lot of new units coming in for Guard. We've got new Sentinels. We've got Karskins coming back. Yeah. No, I agree. I really agree. I really think they should put Guard in this year and maybe push back World Eaters, but I mean, we're just talking about you, my lovely brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it's tough because the Guard are getting, I mean, they're getting new car skins, they're getting the new Sentinel, there's supposedly another new tank. They're getting there's a new what do you call it? A new commissar model. There's a new Cadian commander model. Wow, so they are pushing them all up. Oh my god. Nothing. We were just talking about how wonderful you were to see. That's all, big bro. Just wonderful how good you were to see. Thunderkin, Land Fortress, Warriors. Yeah, so they are pushing the whole freaking. They are pushing them up. Gosh, that is crazy. So we are not going to see Guard. Oh, man. That is tough. Well, I mean, the Guard endures and Cadia stands. Guard players are going to play Guard. If they don't release them until February, if they actually hold them until freaking February, or I was thinking about Kirsch because I've got all that squat. I'm thinking about taking my squats, pulling them out, and using them as Votan. So, supplementing. Um, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think if I took if I bought a box Carrion Overlords, and all the squat stuff I have, and mixed together, I could make a shitload of extra Votan to go. But the reality is, I want that land fortress. I want that freaking gigantic tank of doom. I want 3 of them. Oh, That's the thing that I liked that GW was trying to do something interesting with the Gene Stealer cards. I like that they were trying to do something interesting and different and making them really original. I gotta credit them for that. But God, did that fall flat and just not work. That was so much promise and it just couldn't hold up. And I think that's part of the reason you've seen a lot of AdMech fall apart, because AdMech, the book itself is really good, but once they nerfed, you realize there's so many moving parts that it just gets to be super complicated to try and keep all of it together. Yeah, and that's a very real take. That's a very real take, Knox. I agree. And especially if all the rumors are true, we're looking at June, July for 10th edition to come down, seeing as they've already released spoiled images of the new sculpts. So, and on that note, I think we're going to talk about that more next week, the coming of 10th edition, as the leaks on that start to filter forward. So, that being said, we're going to wrap things up here, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank you for all them upvotes. I want to thank you all for being such a great chat. You guys have been awesome. Very chatty, very informative, very conversational. I love to see that kind of interaction in our chat. I love to see gamers getting together and being able to discuss, because that's what this is really about. This is what Taco Tuesday is about. It's about just talking about the hobby and talking about what we see and what we think, and kind of bouncing ideas and kind of spreading out the things we do know and the things we figured out and the things we've heard, and kind of see what meshes and what doesn't mesh. Yeah, it does. It does kind of suck. But maybe they'll be the Necrons of 10th edition. They'll be the best army until the first codex comes out. On that note, thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for sharing this wonderful hobby, this gaming life with me. I wish blessings on all of you, and hope you all have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week. And we will talk to you the next time that we are talking on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Game on.